Hi, I'm Karen Johnson, and today I'm going to demonstrate for you Tri-Rec tools. These are triangle rulers that were designed by Darlene Zimmerman and Joy Hoffman. The cool thing about these two little rulers that come together in one set is that you can make a couple of different style blocks. Like this one, which is kind of like a half square triangle, only it's elongated, so you get a rectangular angle. You can make these up to 6 inches long, and the other shape that you can do looks a little bit like a flying geese block, except that it's a different angle. So again, you can go up to 6 inches. These will always end up as a square. And again, using these two very differently shaped triangle rulers. So we're going to start by making a triangle in a square. This is going to take both of the rulers that we showed you before. I've decided to make a 2.5-inch square, triangle square, and that means I cut my fabric strips 2.5 inches wide. That's pretty easy. So I'm going to cut on both sides. Be right back. So I've made my cuts, and I want you to notice that there's a little tip cut off there. That was already done by the ruler, so it's going to come in handy a little later when I'm piecing this block together. You'll see why. So I've cut a few more simply by reversing the ruler a couple more times for as many triangles as you want. Now with my contrasting fabric, I'm going to use the other ruler, and I'm going to do the same thing, only keep in mind two things. One is that I've got two pieces of fabric, so I'm going to get reverse of each of these because I'm going to need two in opposite directions to put it with my triangles. And I'm going to get really close here so you can see that there's another little edged cutout here, and that is also going to help us when we piece it together. It'll show up better after I cut it. I'll be right back. And so now I've been cutting a little bit, and you can see the little nick off of each corner. As I mentioned before, that's going to help us with our piecing so we know exactly where to put our triangles. So here's what it's going to look like. I've cut two different shapes out of two different colors for contrast. After I sew this together, it will become a square. Remember those notches. Before I start stitching, I want to show you that because of the notches, I know exactly where to lay this piece. It's all lined up. I don't have to care about what's going on at this end, but I do care what's going on here, and it lays exactly where I want it. Here's what it looks like after half of it's been sewn down, and here's my second piece. Again, lining it up there, and it actually lines up on this side now too. And there's our triangle square. It's 2.5 inches in both directions. So what can you do with these blocks? All kinds of things. Here's a star block. All I did was add 2-inch squares to the corner and a 2.5-inch squares to all the corners in the center. Or you can line them up like flying geese, or you can line them up in a border or in sashings. But in a border, imagine that with different colors for a scrappy border. It'd be very cute. Don't forget, the other thing that this ruler will do is if you use the small half and cut both pieces of contrasting fabric out of the same ruler, like that, and in this case I've layered my two pieces, both right sides up, you end up with, after it's pieced, like a half square triangle, only it is a 1:2 ratio. So in other words, this is half of this width, so you get rectangles. Also perfectly pieced, also has that nice little edge so that you can piece it together without wondering where your corners go.